Welcome back again to another installment of Cool Tools. It's been a little bit since I've gotten to do a video, and we're now in 2025, and I'm hoping to do a few more of these as the year goes on. So I thought it was fitting to talk about something that took the internet by storm over the holiday season, and that's these mini toolboxes. These aren't really new. I think Cobalt had these out last year and they really sold well. And then this year, right before Thanksgiving, Harbor Freight kind of took the world by storm by coming out with their own version of the box with some different features than what we have previously seen. And people went absolutely crazy for them. They're very hard to find. People were waiting outside in lines at the Harbor Freight stores like it was like the 1980s Cabbage Patch Kid saga. If any of you guys were around for that, you know how crazy that got. Or Xbox release back in the day. It was kind of crazy to see how many people were worked up over $9.99 mini toolboxes. And on the flip side, if you pride yourself on being an internet edgelord, this has given you a lot of fuel this year to talk a lot of smack in these groups about why would anybody want these toolboxes. They're just completely useless, yada yada. You know, you definitely had a field day with the comments on that one. So what I want to do is go over the features of each of these styles of boxes. Some of them are very similar to each other. Some of them appear to be similar and are very different. And kind of go over the pros and cons of each. Since I have seen like a lot of people confusing what the Cobalt offers versus what the US General offers and whatnot. I think it would be cool to just have a video spelling it out, and that'll be part one of this. And then part two, I'm going to actually show you what I've done with these boxes and maybe give you some ideas on what you can do with these boxes to make them useful rather than just having 3 of them sitting around doing nothing because you got FOMO. So let's take a look at the individual features of these various boxes and see if they'd be useful for you or not. So what we have here is, first we got a US General box, and I have that sitting directly on top of the Cobalt box, and that's by design here. Just so you can see, they have the identical footprint to each other, front and back. So those two boxes are very similar. And over here, we have another US General box, but sitting on top of that is the Toren box. And that's one not many people know about, but I believe Toren also makes the Home Depot branded Husky box. They're pretty much not available anywhere at the moment, but I was able to get one under the Toren name off of Amazon before they were all sold out. I'm assuming they will come back in stock again, but as you can see, they're just a little bit smaller than the US General box, but they're a little bit deeper. And we'll get into more on the actual specifics here in a moment, but this is just kind of an overview. And lastly here we have the PIT Tools, Pit Tools Master Box. These have been available for a few years before mini toolboxes really got popular. I believe Snap-on either makes the identical box of this, or these come out of the same factory. There's some argument on that. What you should know is the top box and the bottom box are separate purchases. They do have them in a variety of colors. They're about 50 bucks a piece on Amazon, readily available. The top box actually opens up like a traditional toolbox and has 3 drawers, and then the bottom has 4 narrow drawers and 1 deeper drawer. The Snap-on versions of these sell for like $100, $200 a piece. They had a lot of like custom graphics on them and stuff. They look pretty neat, but they are pretty small. And there's really, I've looked at the Snap-on box. I don't have one here right now. There's really no discernible difference. It does not have a Snap-on warranty on it, in case you were wondering. It's one of the things they don't warranty because I guess it's more of a novelty. So there is that. These boxes are also a fair amount smaller than these other toolboxes. And I find that this small size really hinders what you can really store in these. So let's take a look at each of these boxes and look at the dimensions and features while my dogs make funny wookie noises in the background. My apologies. So let's take a little closer look at the US General box here. As you can see, the lid folds open just past 90 degrees, so it stays open. And the hinges actually have a little bit of drag to them, which is nice. So it's not, you don't bang it off the end and have it flop shut on you. It's kind of a nice feature. Also has these little soft cushion spots on here for when you shut it. It doesn't mean much, but it's a little thing. And also, there is a toolbox liner included. The top drawer is about 272 millimeters wide, and front to back, we're at about 146 front to back. Moving down here to the drawers, the US General has nice sliding ball bearing drawers. It's a really nice feature. Unfortunately, they are not full extension. So even though your drawer is about 127 millimeters deep, you only have about 79 millimeters of useful space where you don't have to dig around in this shallow drawer. And the drawer side is about 30 millimeters deep, but you can get about 39 millimeters before you hit this. So a little over an inch. I do find that to be a bit limiting. Same with the top. The top is roughly about 12 millimeters, 13 millimeters deep. And then you got in the lid, you've got another 12 millimeters or so. You got about an inch when the lid's shut. So the top is very shallow, and so you're not going to fit a lot of your typical things in here. This tape measure doesn't quite shut, and this is just a little tape measure. So that is a limiting factor, I think, on a lot of these mini toolboxes. I wish they made these like, you know, half an inch taller would have really made these much more useful, I think. Moving on to the bottom drawer, it's the same deal, but we're deeper. We've got about 217 millimeters wide, and it's the same depth, about 126, 127. But the depth of the slide is about 53 millimeters deep of the actual drawer, and then the clearance you got till you hit the next drawer. See if I can do this. You've got about 60 millimeters. So that drawer is more useful, but again, you lose a lot of space behind there. Now this one isn't as big of a deal because you can get your hand in and kind of use that space, but the top drawer is really limiting. If you got anything round, it's going to roll back there and like kind of disappear on you, especially this scriber because it's magnetic. So it'd be nice if they could have made these slides pull out just, you know, a little bit more, do some kind of full extension slide. But that's what we have. And on the bottom of the box, they also have more of those little soft cushion dots, which is actually, you know, for a fraction of a penny, they're kind of nice. You put it on a table and it, you know, kind of stays put. It doesn't just slide around on a smooth surface. Cobalt doesn't have that. So it just kind of slides all over the place. So that's pretty much it for the US General. There's black, blue, and red available right now, but it sounds like they're going to have all the toolbox colors available here in the spring. So, and I've also heard a rumor that there may be a bottom box coming, which would be really cool. It'd be interesting to see what they do with that, if they do the same thing Cobalt did with their bottom box or something completely different. We'll have to stay tuned on that. I think with the popularity of these, there's definitely a market for it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at the Cobalt. Again, the Cobalt's available in many more colors because they've been out for over a year now. Opening this up, this lid goes all the way back to 180, or a little past 180, which is kind of annoying. Like in this case, it's going to hit this box back here. So, and there's no friction there. If you hold it here, it's just going to slam shut on you. So the top of this box is nearly identical to the other one. It's about 271, 272 millimeters across, and front to back we're at about 146-ish. Same deal, the depth on the top is right around your about 12 to 15 millimeters, and about 14 millimeters on that. Does not come with a drawer liner, but again, it's still the same shallow top. This has a square edge where the U.S. General has like a bevel here, just a minor difference. Kind of matches their other top boxes that they make. Again, so the big difference on these is the drawer slides. These are just a regular friction drawer slide, kind of like your old Craftsman toolboxes or really janky boxes from like 20 years ago. They're loose, they're sloppy, they just don't have that nice feeling that the U.S. General does. They're adequate. You could probably grease them up and they'll feel a little bit better, but just the way they're designed, there's sharp edges in there, and it's like, you can see it's like the paint overspray on here is just like, it's kind of creating some drag, and it's just not as refined. But it's got a couple things going for it when it comes to the drawers. First off, the width is, I believe, just a little bit wider. Actually, no, I think they're about the same. 227 wide by 127 deep, which I think, what was the Harbor Freight? That was 220 wide. So it's just a little bit wider, but I think because on the Harbor Freight, the drawer slides, they stack up a little thicker, so they had to take just a little bit out of the width. But the nicer thing is these drawers extend out about a ½ an inch farther. So you've got, you know, your original 125-ish deep, and you've got about 90 millimeters of exposure that you can actually see in. And the part that overhangs here isn't nearly as cavernous feeling as the U.S. General, even though it's only like a ½ an inch different. Take this and take a look here. You can see how much that little ½ an inch really seems to make a difference in what gets lost in that area. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Again, nice and smooth. Yeah, not so nice. The depth on this drawer is I believe the same. It's about 30 millimeters with the same, about 40 millimeters clearance to the top. And again, with your bottom drawer, same deal. Same dimensions as the top drawer, about 54 millimeters deep. And I think you got about 60 to the top drawer. Yeah, maybe about 62 to the top drawer. The other one had a drawer liner in it, so I mean there could be a millimeter or two there. But and also on the bottom there's no little pads on that. And one more bit of misinformation I just wanted to sort out here. I took a micrometer to these, to the drawer sides, because a lot of people are saying, oh, the U.S. General is so much more robust, it's thicker metal, it's much better than the Cobalt. It's not. It's 29 thousandths on both of them. I think the Cobalt just feels more janky because the fit and finish just isn't what the U.S. General is. That really makes a difference on how these feel. They're very similar otherwise, but that's just the one main spot. And one other thing I forgot to mention is there is a magnet on the back of both of these drawers. It retains the drawer. You can hear it right to the back. What they do, I think they have it riveted to the back of the drawer. And when you go to store things in this drawer, that rivet's popped through about a ¼ of an inch in the back. So it'll actually affect what you can put in there as far as like if you got something pretty close to the size limit of that drawer. You got to watch that. But they do both have magnets, and then they feel like they're about the same magnet there. I think the Harbor Freight just feels a little more robust because it's much tighter and everything. When it, you know, there's no shaking it to break it loose. It's just smooth, and so it's just, this is a much nicer box, and it actually sells for less than the Cobalt box, even when it's not on sale. And you know you can use a 20% coupon on these when they come around, and they're like 12 bucks. So it's not a bad deal. It really isn't. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at this box. This is the one not a lot of people know about, and this is the Toren. Okay, it has one drawer. It's a little bit smaller this way, and it's a little bit wider this way. But when you open it up, the top well is much deeper. Not only is it deeper here, the lid is deeper. And to me, this really makes it nice. You can really fit a lot more in this. at the expense of giving up the top drawer, which again, I'm not so sure how useful the top drawer really is and for a lot of people because it's so shallow and it doesn't extend all the way. But this Toren Box, like I said before, it's also relabeled into the Husky name. It also opens up and stays open, and it'll close on its own, but it does go up to near 90 and stop. Actually, it's a little short of 90 on this one. Comes with the drawer liner. The width, you got to watch because there's like a lip in here. So like, if I just measure like the clear width, it's about 247 wide, and front to back you're at about 156. But you got like 5 millimeters extra under the lip. So, you know, but if you're trying to put something exactly that size in there, like you want to 3D print something, you'll have to probably use that smaller dimension to make it fit. So, but the depth on this one, we got 40 millimeters clear here, and on the lid we've got another 27 millimeters. So again, this tape measure, no problem. I don't know if it'll fit. It actually fits sitting upright. So I mean, that's a pretty big difference there, where the other one, it wouldn't even fit like this. This one will fit upright. So you got a lot more options for what you can store in this box. And the other nice feature about this one, ball bearing slides. Again, nice black ball bearing slides. So you give up the top drawer for the well depth, and on the bottom drawer you got about 50 millimeters of depth on the bottom drawer, and then clearance till you hit the bar here is at 60 millimeters. So essentially the same as the Cobalt and US General as far as that goes. The width of this drawer is 227, and sorry, 207. Yeah, I caught myself there. And 140 on the depth. And then clearance-wise to the front here, you've got about 94. So, but again, it's deeper, so like things don't really get lost in there like the shallower top drawer. This drawer actually has a physical detent. There's no magnet here. It's just like your regular toolbox. There's actually a detent there, which is kind of nice. And these slides feel very nice also. I don't know if they're lubricated better or what. On the bottom, there's no feed or anything on this one either. There are some holes here. I don't know if that's, maybe they'll have a bottom box that'll line up on there. Not sure. But again, pretty nice box. Again, they have these in multiple colors too. But to be honest, I really like this box. If you need a mini toolbox for storing certain items, I think this is kind of the sleeper of the whole thing. Everybody's losing their mind at the US General one, but this to me is more useful for a lot of the things I do. Now let's take a look at the Pit Tools box. These are just, I don't even know what to classify these as. They're a lot smaller. I guess you could put jewelry in these, or I don't know. The sizes are going to be, again, limiting just like the small drawers. The width on this is about 185, and the depth to the hinge is about 103. Okay, and on the top, that lip there is about, I don't know, about 4 millimeters, and then to here you've got about 19 millimeters. So definitely limited on that one. It is kind of cool. There's magnets here to hold the lid shut. They look nice. I mean, they work nice. We've got the drawers. We kind of suffer from the same issue as with the other boxes. They don't extend all the way. The width is 170. The depth is 194, and your clear depth is about 60. So again, that's you know, and we got about 20 millimeters deep here, and it's right up against this lip. And all these drawers are the same. On this box, there's 3 of those same exact drawers. Again, it comes with these little rubber feet here. Again, it's well built. It's just small. So, and your bottom box is more of the same. These drawers are the exact same size. They all have liners in them. There's actually this nice textured piece on the top, which is kind of cool. And then the bottom drawer is your deeper drawer. It's got the same dimensions. It's 170 by about 99. And the depth, the sides are actually a little shorter, but you get more clearance. So the side depth is about 22, but to the next drawer, you've got clearance at about 45 millimeters. So you do have one nicer drawer. I'd almost like a box that just had like 3 of these deeper drawers. You know, that would almost be more useful, but these are kind of like the OG boxes before everybody knew about it. I think these have been out for, I don't know, half a dozen years by now. They also sell a version of the top box that actually comes loaded with some small tools. That's kind of handy. It makes good gifts, you know. But I think they're only available in red. I've never seen them available in any of the other colors. So keep that in mind. And that's about it for these boxes. Now, there are some other ones out there. I think Master Force makes one. I think it's like identical to the Cobalt, though. I think it's just a rebadge. Sam's Club has their version. I didn't get one of those. I think, again, I don't think that has ball bearing slides or anything like that. But I really think the nicest boxes out there are the Toren and the US General. It's pretty much hands down. For people to say that the Cobalt's nicer, I don't think they've had the US General in their hand, because it's pretty night and day. It's very hard to say that the Cobalt is a better box than this US General. I can't see where anybody can make a better point other than that drawer extending an extra ½ an inch here. Cobalt's got nothing going for it other than it's readily available. And even these US General boxes, as of early January, most stores have them in stock again. A little pro tip: people are saying, "Oh, they're not in stock. They're not in stock." Call the local Harbor Freight. Go to your local Harbor Freight. More often than not, they're just going to be sitting on the floor. They're still not listing them on the internet yet. As far as stock availability, you got to just go to the store or call the store. I think they're going to be a regularly stocked item, and now that the hype's kind of died down a bit, they're going to be available pretty much all year. I'm sure once the new colors hit, there'll be another run on them. But if you're patient, just wait till they come back in stock again, and I think there'll be plenty of these to go around. So that's about it that I wanted to talk about these. I'm going to do another episode right after this, and I'm going to talk about what I am putting in these boxes and give you some ideas on what you can put in these boxes, and you can decide if these things are completely useless to you, are they a waste of money or not. So stay tuned for that, and I'm actually going to be giving away the Cobalt box at the end of this, so check out the other video and I'll kind of tell you how you can get a chance of getting that, and stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next one.